Hello there, Qckslvrslash, and today I've got something of a treat for you. I'm driving my Tier 6 Japanese battleship, the Fuso, but that's not really the focus. Well, it's part of the focus, but as usual, I'm playing alongside Flying Goomba, and I've got a game where he doesn't seem to explode in the first 2 minutes, and I'm gonna prove he is a great teammate in this one. I'm playing on Neighbors, and right at the start, plan is to head over to the islands. I love going over here, and it's kind of counterintuitive, but for me, when I'm in a battleship, I like having a lot of islands nearby because I feel safer from destroyers. And yeah, there's only one destroyer on each team, but part of the reason for that kind of feeling of safety is as long as you're paying attention to when you're spotted and the map, you're not going to get ambushed, and the islands make it very hard for them to get straight, long shots at you. So you can see right off the bat, put the plane up and start trying to fire at the Warspite. Unfortunately, all those shells miss. And I think a couple times I just seem to underlead this Warspite, and it's not that fast a ship, so I think I was just trying to be like, oh yeah, the Warspite, she's a little bit slower, you know, don't lead her as much as some of the other battleships, and that was just hurting me, because you can see another volley, another miss. So, as the group of us work into these islands, you can see it appears we're going to be faced by really a pretty adequate enemy force. Got a Warspite spotted, a couple other BBs over this way, and some cruisers, so I think we're in for a good fight. And finally I have a volley that connects with something, 4 overpens on that Congo for 4,000 damage, and I get absolutely nailed, and that's my punishment for driving in a straight line for so long, but didn't really have an option there, and I'm kind of forced to go around the outside of this island. Another volley and a penetrating hit for no damage, and I slow up here. I do this anytime I'm driving through islands, and I just check my speed, particularly when I get behind an island, to throw off any aim shots at me, but also to throw off any torpedoes coming my way. I've got a Nuremberg side on, and I'm hoping I can make the best of it. The shells look to be going too far astern, but clearly I hit something super critical in the back of the ship, and I managed a citadel. So I'm looking back and forth, and while I do have a good shot at that Warspite, the Nagato's closing us at a much higher rate, so I decide to prioritize her as my target, and Goomba is as well, and between the two of us, we're really starting to quickly whittle her down. Take a decent hit there, use the first of my repair parties, and this Nuremberg makes a misplay. If you're gonna poke out past the edge of land, use turns and speed to get back. Don't put your ship into reverse and try to like crawl back behind, because you can see just does not work. Another citadel, left them on 174, and Goomba finishes them off for me. So now we've got to get this Nagato, because 5.7k from me, 3 kilometers from Goomba, and on low health, you start to worry about them maybe going for the ramp. I get a solid volley in, 10,000 damage, and they just managed to get a torp in there, the Qckslvrslash, but the second set isn't going to work, and it's here that they're turning hard towards Goomba, and I'm just praying he doesn't get hit, because you hate to lose division mate. I fire off, but my secondaries end up killing them for me. So with final 2 turrets, I fired the Gneiss now, and you can see we've got a brawl on our hands. Bunch of battleships, all sub 10 kilometers. Gneiss now, New Mexico, got a Furitaka, and off in the corner, that Warspite, who I think could have made a big difference if that Warspite had been grouped up with these other battleships. So Goomba and I are discussing who we want to target and really whittle down first, and we decide it's gotta be the New Mexico. At least for now. Side on, 10 kilometers, these are easy shots to take, and you're really hoping to get big damage out of each volley. 8,700 there, a stun turret, which, you know, it doesn't seem like a big deal to stun a turret, but that's 3 shells that aren't coming back our way for the next 30 seconds. The focus shifts though as this Gneiss now rounds the corner, eats a bunch of torpedoes, and we've got to get it, and just look at those shells. Barely clear over my friendly Königsberg as the Gneiss now gets finished off. So with the torpedo threat removed, back to the New Mexico, 30,000 hit points, and you can see Goomba's secondaries firing away, just entering into my secondary range, I believe. Get another solid volley out. Big hit, 14,000, and I permanently break one gun and stun another there. So we're 7 minutes in, I've already done 78,000 damage, and this Warspite's gotta be the next target. They've been doing a big circle down there, getting harassed by our Minakaze, and you can see them eat some torpedoes, and I see them turning, so I wait, you want to get them side on, and then I fire. 6,000 damage, not too terrible, would have hoped for more than that, but I'll take what I can get. And you can see that Warspite just clinging on, using the repair party, and it's all but over for them. They start to turn again, and I'm gonna make them pay, but Buddy gets them before I can. That's fine. Up to 84,000 damage, 1 kill, and we've completely pushed through this side. So now the focus has to be on getting towards their cap. You can see they've got a battleship over here, and a cruiser, and their destroyer. With just a battleship and cruiser defending, they could plausibly take those 2 guys out and maybe get into cap. So we have to put pressure onto their cap just to ensure that, you know, they can't get ours, and it's just the smart thing to do. We could try go chasing down the kills here because this has been a bit of a rout for our team, and I just don't feel that's wise. A bunch of us are on sub-half hit points, and an enemy destroyer can wreak a lot of damage really quickly. So let's skip ahead a little bit. I'm just driving in a straight line here, trying to get to the cap. So as the group of us drive in, you can see I'm spotted, and this tells me one of 2 things. Either the destroyer has come back and is somewhere around here looking for a torpedo volley, or their carrier is inside my detection range but not spotted yet. And you can see just the quantity of squadrons coming our way. 4 dive bomber squadrons and a torpedo bomber. And they go for Goomba, but he's quick on his rudder, and he's gonna get away from this alive. Both enemy cruisers are now spotted, and the destroyer, so we know whatever is detecting me has to be one of their carriers, and that's when they show up. I'm gonna make quick work of them, really. And a lot of people you'll see will be like, oh, it's a carrier, I gotta switch to HE, try to light their deck on fire to nail those planes down, but I most of the time fire AP at carriers, because things like this. There's one Citadel, another 10,000 damage, 10 seconds away from my next volley, and had I hit them with HE, I don't think I could have done 10,000 damage, and I definitely wouldn't have been able to do what I do with this second volley. You can see I wiggle the mouse around there to just kind of give a shotgun blast of shells, and they are looking good as they drop in. One Citadel, two Citadels, and a penetrating hit for the kill, and I've got 121,000 damage now. And that's going to be the game. The Atlanta, way out of position to do anything, as is their Firataka, and their other carrier has got planes on their way, it looks like, but they're not going to get here in time for us to cap. And you can see that was a great game for me. 282,000 credits, 4,300 experience, 121,000 damage, and only on a handful of Citadels. I managed to help capture the base, and I think the best part for me was Goomba got to survive the battle. A little uninteresting there for a bit as we just drove to the cap, and I was kind of hoping a lot of the ships would turn around and try to, fight us off of it, but they got caught up in the upper corner, and the rest of my team ended up dealing with them. Hopping into the stats, you can see top of the team with Goomba right behind me, and great to have my division mate finish the battle with me and be able to share that replay, because I know so many times I share these replays and Goomba just seems to explode in the first 3 minutes. There's the spread of damage, and really happy with it overall. I did some good damage to some ships that were higher tier than me, the Nagato and the Gneisenau, and the equal tier ones put some really strong damage in, and those two big Citadels into the Nuremberg. And he was a bit of a fool for trying to back behind the island in the way he did. Had he just turned away, probably wouldn't have hurt him. And you can see overall some more money and experience that I got to take home to the port, and just a fun game. So if you enjoyed the game, please consider giving me a thumbs up or subscribing to the channel. They help me out, they keep me motivated and making these videos every day. And as always, I am Qckslvrslash, and I'm going to have another one for you guys tomorrow.